Siavish in Brooklyn, New York writes to me. Forgot my glasses. Let me see, because I can't see so well. I have recently invested in my hi-fi setup and bought an amazing pair of loudspeakers, an amp and a preamp. Reading the specs of the amp and the preamp, it blows my mind every time I try to process all the factors and understand if this preamp and amp is the right configuration for my speakers. How do you recommend us going about this? I have watched your previous videos on wattage, voltage, etc., but this is impossible to calculate for my setup based on the manufacturer's specs. Is this purely based on the listening experience, or do you recommend some resources to learn and understand these better? Well, I'm going to do a shameless plug for the upcoming The Audiophiles Guide, because in there I help you understand all of it. It's a 10-book set, so you'd have to pick the right book. You know, something like the new revised version of the stereo would be a good one for you. But, all right, enough shameless plug, because that's not out yet, and we'll talk about that. The easiest way is through wattage. So the two things that you need to know are the sensitivity of your loudspeakers, which every loudspeaker is going to be able to tell you, and the wattage capability of your power amplifier. Your preamplifier is not really relevant to your speakers, okay? I mean, that sonically, we can go over that all day long, and you know, we've talked endlessly about that. But technically, all you need to worry about is the sensitivity of your speakers versus the wattage available from your power amplifier. So let's go over it real quick. Sensitivity of the speakers is always in decibels. So let's say your speakers are 87 dB. What does that mean? That means that if you put 1 watt of power into your speaker and you are standing 1 meter away from your speaker, you will hear 87 dB worth of sound. Okay? So that means that, and now here's where it gets a little complicated, because this is what what they don't tell you. That sounds like, well, I don't need many watts. The average that you want to look for in a loudspeaker should never dip below about 85 dB. At 85 dB, you're going to need 100 to 200 watts of power at the impedance of your speaker. Let's say you have a 4-ohm speaker. Let's say that 4-ohm speaker is running at 85 dB, 1 watt at 1 meter away, okay? You need at least 100 watts of power to adequately drive that speaker, and you would be much better off with 200 watts, okay? So use that as a rule of thumb. Now, as the speaker sensitivity goes up, that requirement goes down. So if you're at 87, 88, 90, that's a very comfortable, now you don't need so many watts. At 90 dB sensitivity of a speaker, 50, 60, 70 watts. Another way to look at this, I don't think I would ever try and drive any speaker with less than 100 watts. Okay? So if your amplifier has 100 watts and your sensitivity of your speaker is anywhere from, say, 85 up, you're going to be okay. See if that makes any sense. So just kind of general rules of thumb. But that's kind of how it works, and I hope that helps. And then look for the Audiophiles Guide. That whole series of 10 books will be coming out in late January, early February, and many of these questions will be memorialized in that. You might wonder where the heck we are. So here's all this construction. We're right in the middle of construction, and I wanted to show you before we close this up. This 26-foot long window, this opening here that just got, I don't want to touch it because they just sanded the whole thing. It was all, they whacked this, they put a big header in here and drywall and all this kind of stuff. This side was music room 2. This is where we originally had the Infinity IRS 5s set up. And then this is music room 3, the bigger one. And over here is where the last listening room that we had with the FR30s, all the videos that you've seen over the last couple of years have all been over here in music room 3. And then this is music room 2. So this is going to become the new studio for Octave Records. And I'm really excited about it. This opening will have a window in it. Well, it'll actually have multiple windows. And they'll be angled no, it's like this, right? So they come down here, and it comes up here. And we're going to have a control console right here. And as I sit here at the control console with all the microphone preamplifiers, I'll be able to see all the musicians. We'll have the grand piano over there. We'll have the organ, all the cool stuff from Octave Record. This is really going to be fun. And it'll be in this building. This will be the control room. And we'll have a nice set of FR30s so we can monitor and master everything. And then we'll have the setup over here of all the instruments and musicians and what. So pretty cool stuff. I just wanted you to have a chance to take a look and see as we do it. And I'm going to do a separate little video also. Okay, thanks. Bye.